I have 83 days before I move to Spain to set up a system that helps sustain the gardens when I'm gone. I'm Esther. I'm the creator of Eco Chamber. And Eco Chamber was created to solve the problem of abandoned gardens so that no garden will slip through the cracks when the person that started it leaves. One thing I've noticed throughout my time is that I also work at Bethpage State Park. I'm a horticulture technician over there. And something I found really interesting is that the state has implemented and put a garden, a pollinator garden, in every park in my region via a grant. But the thing is, when those gardens were put in for this grant, there was no one assigned to take care of them. And throughout the years, those gardens have fallen to the wayside. Management doesn't prioritize taking care of the pollinator gardens. There's really few people that focus on just taking care of the plants in the gardens. There's so much more to gardening and stewarding our land than pruning rose bushes and mulching beds. And in terms of the public, there's not much education or about the plants. I realize there's a bubble of this is milkweed, and you know what milkweed is, and you collect the seeds and you propagate it, and then you have a whole bunch. But last year, even though I've been working as a horticulturist for 3 years, I realized my mom had never seen milkweed before. And during our family friend's wedding, when she saw milkweed in person, she asked me what it was, and immediately I told her it was common milkweed, and something clicked. There's a disconnect there. Anyways, I've made it my mission to figure out how to help gardens in that way, and this has led me to an interesting path, where Eco Chamber has continued to grow into amazing things. You can check it out at Eco Chamber XYZ, and you will see my amazing partner and CTO has helped put together an MVP so that we can test it out and get feedback. I got some feedback when I tried it out with my mom, and right now I will just open it up so you can check it out. I think that's pretty valid, and you should see this too. So this is Eco Chamber. There's things, of course, that I'd like to change, but for the sake of not focusing too much on the little things and focusing on the big things, we're just gonna dive into it. Okay, so you have the one thing I noticed when I showed this to my mom is that she was swiping to the side, which was interesting, instead of scrolling. Intuitively, that was her thought process, which was really interesting. Okay. Yeah, there's some stuff that we're playing around and trying to tweak. But I'm really, really thankful for my amazing CTO for helping create Eco Chamber. I thought, why not go... there's been this idea that's been on my heart, it's been on my mind, it's been in my soul for a while, and I just can't seem to let it go. I literally, will be laying in bed, and all of a sudden, the idea will come up, and it urges me to write it down. Okay, so yesterday I wrote down everything I could about this situation, how I feel about this, where I'm at, and today I figured why not just do a little vibe coding session to see what we can make and play with it. I think what I've learned in the past 4 years of working on Eco Chamber is that it is important to see as many perspectives as possible, as quickly as possible, and as effectively as possible. What I mean by that is when you are making something for other people to use, you have to understand where they're coming from, where their values, their pain points, the context, what their goals are for the garden. And these are all things that I've learned over time. I have, let's say, 4 garden sites that I help out with, and each one is very complex in its nature, and the purpose of the garden is different. The setup of the garden, some of them they look pretty wild and untamed, and they're just on the borders, the outsides of a field, where others have boxes and borders. And even others are whatever I make it up to be, with the chamber chair, aka the person who is truly in charge of the garden at this time. My hope is that when I first started Eco Chamber, I found a abandoned garden at my school, and I quickly asked permission from the sustainability manager if I could help regenerate it, and got in contact with the nonprofit organization Island Harvest, partners for that garden, and things got rolling pretty quickly, and thank God, it's been good. But there's been a lot of bumps along the way. For instance, when I first started 4 years ago, I had little to no real gardening expertise. I didn't know how to revive an overgrown, weedy garden. I don't really have the best method for removing mugwort and mats of roots and crabgrass from the beds. I didn't have resources to fill the beds up with fresh soil, and so just made do with what I had. And every season I've been learning and growing and implementing, and I think a part of that growth is sometimes I'll be frustrated with how the garden looks. And I think that that's a testament to the expectations and how good I think it can be. But I'm only one person, and about 2.5 years ago, I passed out from dehydration after spending 4 hours at a garden helping weed it out. It was super overgrown. There were bricks and garbage embedded in an asphalt road / dirt. It was a little bit chaotic. So, of course, it was rough. It was a rough time. And I forgot to drink water, and I passed out, and I realized in that moment that there was no way that I could ever reach my goal of helping grow 100 gardens if I was at one garden for 4 hours straight every day that week and wasn't taking care of myself. It's really important to reach out to other organizations, ask for help. And right now I've been figuring out how to set a system to ask for help. And the garden chairs, some of the chairs aren't experts in gardening, so they might not know how to instruct the volunteers. And if the volunteers aren't experts in the field either, it can just lead to a whole lot of wasted time and resources. Thankfully, my mom is like a master gardener. She's amazing, and she's been helping out a lot, especially in the earlier years when I had no idea what I was doing before I started working professionally as a horticulturist, and had amazing mentors that trained and taught me well. Okay, now that that's all done, amazing. Okay. Okay. So, I'm gonna dive into what we're gonna do today, which is make a web app that's been on my heart. I can't say that it's like totally, the idea is still forming, and I'm at that point where it's like the beginning stages of getting it going. Actually have something I can play with, a toy, if you will. The thing is, mentally, I feel a little bit of a perfectionist mentality creeping in. It wants to like wait until we're like prepared and ready before diving in. But I have the idea, and I'll share it with you. Excuse, you can really see the messiness. But here is an NFC card that I created. It does nothing right now, but I will be writing onto the ecoc.app that I got in hopes to create something cool. I also have journaled a little bit on ecoc.app to get an idea. So the whole idea is that, I should start 2 days ago on Saturday. At work, we're going to be partnering with Rewild Long Island to train volunteers, mostly primarily high schoolers, but also some adults. And we're going to be training them and teaching them how to identify common invasive and native species, as well as the maintenance practices it takes to maintain the gardens. We have about 9 pollinator gardens at Bethpage State Park. It's a lot, and it's a lot for, the 3-4 of us that take care of it. So having these hands is going to be super helpful. During the event, we were able to meet so many people, and of course, we grow about 10,000 native plants a year. It's a lot of native plants to propagate, and it's awesome. We don't dig 10,000 holes, though. We do try to give away plants to different partners and collaborators, whether in different parks or friends of parks or municipalities, community garden organizations, really anyone who is willing to plant them, we are willing to donate them. It's pretty awesome, and I'm really thankful for my job and the nature of it. It's great. So here's the thing. This right here is a means to connect with those people quickly and give them the information about the garden, prompting them to either come visit, check out the garden, or contact the chamber. One of those 3. My supervisor has reached out to a elementary school in Valley Stream that he went to. We got in touch with the principal. We literally visited them, and we wanted to donate some plants to the elementary school to create a native perennial garden bed in order for the kids to learn a little bit more about the relationship these natives have with the native wildlife around them and the importance of that ecosystem. This is awesome. The thing is, we have to do a lot of explaining when we're there, and of course I have photos that I share, but I was thinking it would be great to have a landing page to help out my supervisor so that he can share it, people can easily see the garden's scope of the work, and schedule a visit. Okay, the whole idea of ecoc is actually the cryptocurrency part. I hate saying that because when I first started saying that almost 5 years ago, it was not a pretty sight. People were very wary of cryptocurrency. I see it as a great way to keep track of information and link it to the person who actually contributed. And I think when we are talking about community gardens and public lands, that, the taxpayers are playing a big role in the ownership of the land. Inviting stewardship onto that land and a sense of ownership, I think, can really help improve our environmental situation. Okay, so I just talked a lot. Now, for a while, because everybody was leery of the idea of including a cryptocurrency, I stayed really far away from it. But I actually think there's a lot to say in terms of tying some kind of currency to your contributions to a garden. First, I hope that it motivates people to contribute more, but more importantly, it will create a clearer pathway, or trail to the information. And my hope is to make the world's largest database of plants and plant related tasks and just plant related stuff, so that people that are contributing, that are taking care, tending to the plants, have a way to be compensated. I realized throughout my 3 years as a government employee in the state parks system, as a horticulture technician, there aren't many permanent titles, and the civil service doesn't seem to want to add more. This is a weird thing in government jobs. I think it very much is political, and politics is like a popularity contest, and it really does come down to who you know, and what favors you can do for others and what favors they can do for you, unfortunately. So getting permanent positions is a tricky thing. But my hope is that regardless if the government, whenever they implement that, amazing, and I will continue to push on that end. But for now, if it can be publicly crowdfunded in some way, whether that's by buying produce from the gardens themselves, and that goes towards the contributors, the people that helped grow the produce, that planted it, that watered it, that weeded around it, that harvested it, that's pretty cool. And I think, why not try to make something that actually can bring monetary value to someone? I think that, unfortunately, is a big incentive for people. Money. And if that can bring people to be more environmentally conscious of the world that they live in, and just be more ethical in their stewardship practices, cool. I'm all for it. Just be good stewards to the earth. So if that means we have to figure out a way to financially incentivize some people, great. I don't think the real ones need to be financially incentivized, and that's why I've been thinking a lot about how this would all work. But yeah, I think keeping track of how people contribute to the garden in a way was great for the future. Getting those volunteer hours, stuff like that. Anyways, I've been talking way too much. Let's actually get into the fun part of today, which is the let's see, it's somewhere in here. Give me a second. I have a lot of tabs open, so it took a second. Okay, so I'm going to be using Claude to do some vibe coding now. We're going to make an artifact to start before we go about connecting everything. Again, I'm always I'm never really sure how to start, but I have an idea. So, amazing. Let's go ahead. make sure you can also see what I'm doing. Okay, we're gonna just grab Claude. Okay. Wow, you can see like the smallest little screen. That's very cute. So, hey, I want to make it's called I want to make a web app. It's called ecoc.app, and it will the marketing piece. I hate to say the marketing piece, but it's pretty much like a landing page that invites people to contribute to the garden, whether that's visit it or partner with it, or donate something. Okay, so marketing, and I'm taking this because I did journal earlier today, so kind of taking the thoughts that I had there. So think of it like a marketing page for the gardens. What else? You guys probably want to see that, okay? That's pretty good. Okay, so what else do we want to put in there? And then I actually have some, here's the beginning prompt. Here is a beginning prompt. Please ask questions. Some simplify artifact to its core feature. Okay, so now I pasted in a prompt because earlier I was talking to Claude, I was doing some more brainstorming. I've been thinking about this since last week, maybe the week before. It's been a little while that it's been cooking in my mind, and I realize you gotta take action when you have the energy to do so. So I kind of feel like this is the week to get it done. I also have a folder set up for you. I'm talking to Claude, called ecoc on desktop. Use for this project. Whew. And then I will also be using I have so many links open. Oh my goodness. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. But anyways. Eco chamber. Okay. So we're just gonna go ahead to greenhouse. Okay. Oop. Yeah, I cannot see you right now, guys. We're in the weeds. Okay. associated as, okay, that is okay, so the thing is, there's actually a couple of them that are associated with it, like the greenhouse is one, but there's also there's also the Nature Discovery Garden and the Pollinator Picnic, and those are the main ones. And I'm gonna do them all. Okay. Sweet. Okay, I think that's pretty good, the Bethpage State Parks. I have information about Chamber and Google Drive. Chambers. And let me just check where that is. BPSP. Okay, yo, I'm like leaning in, and you know you can barely see me, but that's okay. Let's use the double diamond of design to structure this sprint. Okay, we sent that. Now let's see what happens. Eco Chamber landing page. Okay, so this is good. It helps with the questions so much. Okay. I don't know if I should have it, so I'm also thinking about like the comfortability level of the user. They're not going to probably set up a cal link. They could, but that's like an extra step they might not want to do. Oop. I'm gonna just leave that there just for the sake of keeping the viewport. Well, let's see. I think like a mail to would work pretty well. Yeah, okay. Okay, so technically I have I don't know how to spell the domain, that's fine. There's like literally nothing in this folder, so that's interesting. Okay. So now we're going through the discover phase of the double diamond of design. Now, if you don't know what the double diamond of design is, fret not. I think it's pretty cool, so of course I'm a little obsessed with it, but yeah, the double diamond, it's a process, like a framework, and it is a great way to dissect how you build things and to break it down into sections for your mind to use the right and the left, the right and the left brain. And the diamonds represent diversion and conversion points. So I'll take a moment just to show that to you while I continue to check out Eco Chamber. But yeah, it's a really interesting process, and you probably can't see that well from, let's see if we can just, boop. Oh my gosh, no, it's so small, but you still can't really see it that well. Let's see. This looks really cool though, this one. Let's see if we can just get it in here. No. Oh, okay, that's not gonna work as well as I thought. But this might work a little bit better. Okay, that did not work as well either. Okay. But yeah, okay, the double diamond of design is like you have, let me see if I can get this a little bit bigger. Forgive me for my humble disposition of, ooh, okay, this is a little rougher than I thought. Okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Okay. Maybe I'll just have to visit it to show you the power. Oh. That works. Kind of works. You kind of see what I'm talking about a little bit. I mean, yeah, it's really, you discover on the outer side, so it's like you discover, then you define, that's the first diamond, then you design, and then you iterate, or yeah, that's what I say, you get feedback. Okay. Ooh, it's actually quite hot here, guys, and I'm feeling the heat. So let's, yep, we're gonna go right back. I'm gonna see what happens here. So interesting. Okay, so interesting. Cool. Okay, so now I have a few things to do. Okay. Alright, so now I just have these final pieces, it looks like, to provide. And I'm gonna pull those off of Canva. I don't think I have like a good photo of my supervisor, but I don't really feel like he wants a good photo of himself. Or like wants a photo of himself on the page. I could see what's going on there. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna use this. Whew. Yeah, it's getting hot in here. I'm getting hot. I'm getting very hot. Yeah, I think this is gonna be interesting. Alright, so let's just get these things. I don't know if there's like a better photo in the... Probably have a photo of this person. Okay, looking for... I don't think I'm gonna get like a solid good photo of the garden. So for the sake of keeping it going, let's use... I'm gonna go on Instagram. I'm gonna go to... Whew. Okay. And we're just going to save this as a finished park photo. And let's put this on the desktop. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh Shizuki. Okay, that's fine. Save. Okay, let's see. Okay, so photo and folder and okay, what else? Vic email correct. Google Maps a link. Okay, what can I do here for the Google Maps? So I know that there's a Google Photos that we have. First I'll use that just to get a good idea, see what albums we have. I don't really have very much here. I'm wondering if I should just... I might do this one for the Google. Honestly, let's just do the Google Maps. I think that's like kind of important. So we'll do Google Maps and just get a good link we can use for this stuff. I find this so interesting that I spend so much of my time on Google Maps. I kind of have a familiarity with where things are to an extent, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I will put I'm just gonna put a link in the front where the garden is. This is a great garden. This is a great place to pop up. And this is a garden at the shop. Okay. Whew. Okay, so I think I've done all the work. So silly because I give such little input, and the output that you get is like, feels so much more. And of course we'll have to connect this with an actual domain name, but hopefully we can run it locally first and see what happens. Whoa, was not expecting that. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna use... Alright, maybe I can get a photo of my coworker, but I'm not feeling super, like, good with that idea. I'm sure I have a good photo of him. I do. I do have a good photo of him. Where he looks pretty cool, you know? Like, okay, I like this photo, so let's do this photo. Let's see. Okay, wait, let me add it to the eco folder now. Okay, I see. Boop. I didn't do it in any, okay. Okay, sweet. Whew. Okay, this is great. Oh my gosh. I don't know what quote they're gonna add. That's something I don't really like about AI, like the models, because they're quoting, but it's not accurate. Like, I never said that. That's you quoting me, but it's not what I've said. I'd appreciate, and there's probably a way that I can prompt and ask in advance that they only use quotes from actual, like, unedited, raw words. This is a moment of truth. This is a moment that we think if we're meeting someone and we tap this card on their device, this is what they would see. I'm not loving that. I'm not loving that, dog. Not loving how that's looking right now. So while that's going, I'm gonna go to Cloudflare and I'm gonna connect the website. I think this will help. My computer's clearly fed up with me and it's hot, so I'm gonna have to start. I'm gonna have to start cooling down soon. It's getting to that point. But I'm pretty happy that we're making some progress. Yeah. Whew, okay. Let's exile that error and just keep going with the flow. So, what am I doing that you cannot see? Right now I'm looking at Cloudflare. I have the domain open, and I'm going to go to GitHub, and I'm going to create a repo for myself. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my cool. Yeah, we're figuring it out. Let's see. We're gonna create a new repository. We're gonna call this ecoc. Think of it like a marketing page for the gardens. I'm just gonna keep that description short. I don't really know. Like, I'm just creating from GitHub, and it is done. The preview stopped. It's starting. Okay. I think this is honestly pretty good. Can't wait to see what it looks like connected. So how do I connect everything now? You can't see the other screen that I have open, but I just created the repo, the repository on GitHub, and now I'm going to connect it to Cloudflare so that they can communicate, and then Claude can communicate to GitHub, and GitHub will communicate to Cloudflare, and everything should be connected that way. So I'm going to do my best to set that up right now. I'm trying to do my best to also remember how everything works. So I'm going to go to workers and routes. I'm going to add a route. I'm going to just make it okay, cancel. Let's see. I believe I should be able to just add a route. Go see that app. Okay. So I'm making the index. Now I'm trying to remember how to do everything, so I'm going to manage workers. And I'm thinking of how to do this. Do I create an application? Continue with GitHub. I'm going to do eco. Whoa, it's just eco, which is a little bit crazy. Will that, I don't know if that will like disrupt everything, but we're just gonna go with it. Eco, next. Okay, build command, deploy. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm really figuring stuff out like as we're going. I think this is the only way to do it. I know, again, you can't see it all. I'm just not sure if I should share this, like, on the internet, so I'm proceeding on the air of caution. Okay, so, because I don't really know what I'm doing, because I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm trying to figure it out as I go. And that's like all I can really say there. Domain. I have to add a domain. You can see that and add domain. Okay, now that should kind of work a little bit more. Last build failed. Let's see if I retry now. Again. Oh, it worked. I think. I'm not sure if it's working. Oh no, it did not. Ooh. Okay, maybe. Let's go to repositories. Let's see. Go see. Oh no, we cannot do that. Okay, even though the name is a little different than Cloudflare, that should work okay. And the domain is now set up so that ecoc.app is up. don't remember everything, but let's see if I can go back. Let's see if I can go back. What is it trying to initialize or deploy? I'm not sure. So let me just go ahead to Claude and we'll just keep going and we'll push until something breaks and then we'll take a break. Okay. Okay, that looks cool. How about you help me connect this to the actual domain on Cloudflare? I have the Git repository, and I have a feeling we're gonna have to go into like some deeper things, and in terms of okay. Alright, so I will also share the photo album link once I get it. Okay. This is exciting. Whew. Okay, so I'm just letting Claude do whatever the Claude needs to do. Let's just push to main because nobody knows ecoc.app exists. And also it's gonna take us closer to where we want to be. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if eco... add domain. Okay. I don't know what all this means, to be honest. I am also getting a little bit like my brain is not looking like the best in terms of it feels like mush. So, what we will do is what I always do. We will just go on ecoc.app and see what happens. Whoa. Yeah, I should have done that in real life so you could see, because my goodness, my friend, it's working. Can you believe that? Boom. We just deployed a website. We just made a little website. Yeah, because it says horticulture technique. Powered by Eco Chamber. Ooh, and then it goes to Eco Chamber XYZ. Isn't that cool? Okay, so of course this is just gonna be like / the chamber shares name or something memorable for them. I think the name of their garden would be memorable, but would it? So that's what we gotta think about now. Like, how do we get this? Sweet tamales, so sweet. So that's pretty cool though, and exciting. Like, that's exciting that, boom, it goes to the greenhouse. Ooh. And then you can schedule a visitor tour by just saying schedule a visit. Beth page. That's great. So you might not see it, but an email popped up with the name of the email. It's just pretty cool. I think that was pretty simple. And we got a working website up and running. Well, I know I've talked more than half the time here, but that is a website. And let me show it to you in a way where you can actually see it. Let's see. Yep, there we go. There you go. You can now see the website that is here. We just made a little website, a little landing page. If somebody pressed this, it would take them to. It's super simple, super duper simple, and that's good because it makes editing it better. The simpler, the better, I have learned. Because we're gonna have to play with the copy, and I'm probably gonna have to make a way for the chamber chairs to log in. Yeah, and I'm not really sure how it all works because this is gonna. And there's some moving parts here. But we finished something that I can show my supervisor tomorrow. I can continue to tweak and play around with it. And I think that's really exciting. You know, that's really, really exciting. Like, oh my goodness, I'm excited. But yeah, this is gonna be a subdomain. Probably just gonna say Bethpage Greenhouse, something like that. Yeah, we gotta figure out the naming. But isn't that cool that we can just like, boom. The domain was like $14 a year, a little bit over $1 a month to have, and it gives a way for the chamber chairs to quickly and easily. Now we're gonna do the actual writing part. You did not see that part yet. I'm going to have to change probably my camera just for the sake of. I usually use the camera that I'm filming this on to do that, the writing part, and I don't think I can use NFC tool on my NFC tool is too big for my other phone in terms of storage, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Let's see if I can do NFC tools on my iPad. That's what we'll use for writing this. NFC Tools is a pretty simple app. And maybe I can do it in my laptop, I just have never tried. But yeah, we're gonna play around with it. Okay, great. NFC Tools. So let's just go. There's a little onboarding. We know exactly what we're gonna put on this bad boy. So we're gonna go to the right NFC feature. You can probably barely see it. I'm gonna add a record. It's gonna be a link. I'll just type in ecoc.app. And I see that auto-corrected to eco chamber, which is really cool. But great. Okay, now to be fair, ecoc.app might not work. Just because it doesn't have the HTTPS, and we need that for it to be like an official link, readable. So let's save that, and now we're going to write. Oof. No, I'm not gonna do all that. we're gonna have to use, give me a moment, we're gonna write it on here. Okay, we did it. We have the card, it has been written, and now this is the real part. Seeing the card works. You could see that it was a little awkward. It's a little awkward to get like the actual the reader, and for me I find it like of course you don't want to be like rubbing someone's phone. I also have a very thick case on my phone, but it did pop up. So that's that. We just vibe coded ecoc.app. This is going to be used for chamber chairs, people that are the main contact person for the garden, to have an opportunity to invite people when they go networking, to invite people to come back to their garden, and to easily give them a website to follow up and do just that. In the past, I have played around with using NFC cards for texting, because honestly sometimes the best way is just to get that person's number, and I did write it so that it would send a text message that I had pre-made, but I realized it only worked on certain phones, not all phones, and that was a problem. So yeah, I think the URL is a little bit more universal. I haven't had any issues with Androids or iPhones, and I think it's pretty fun. If you ask me, I'm just gonna keep on playing with this because I think it's fun. But thank you so much for joining. So for the rest of the week, my plan is to play around with how the currency part works. My idea is like, imagine you just had a little card, you know, you can go like a library card kind of. You just like go to the garden, you're able to get fresh produce, but also there's a way to keep track of it, which is really important for some of these gardens that survive off of grants and need to show the numbers to the grantors. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. Thank you so much. Leave a comment below if you're interested in trying this out for your own garden. Please check out ecochamber.xyz. Email me, get in contact. I would love to talk to you and hear your insights on how I can continue to make this the best that it can be. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Happy growing.